Alright, yo, what it do? It's your boy KD Ascends back in it. And in this video, we gonna talk about shadow work. Now, uh, I'm a very spiritual dude. And when I say spiritual, I mean spiritual in the sense like, I believe in things like chakras, kundalini, your third eye. I follow the 7 hermetic principles that I got from the Kabbalion. I've recently got into like Kemet, understanding the dynamics and the principles from Kemet, from ancient Egypt and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just in that realm, yin and yang and all that. Like I believe there's a God and I believe there's opposite to the God because it's polarity. And like yin and yang is interconnected, love and light, darkness and shadow. So yeah, but in this video we're gonna talk about shadow work. I'm not gonna make this video too long because I don't want to ramble on, and plus this is something that people need to do their own research on. So don't just take what I say as cemented or set in stone or nothing like that, or don't take my word 100% for it. Do your own research. Now, shadow work and the spiritual community or things like that, people always talk about love and light, which is not a bad thing, but there's a difference between talking about love and light and then just ignoring the shadow aspect. Like when you got yin and yang, you notice that it's two halves, which is the white half, which would represent the yang and the light, and which represents the yin, which is the feminine and dark. Now, if you pay attention to the yin and yang circle, you notice each half has a small circle of the opposite color. So the white has a small black dot, and the black has a small white dot. Now, what does that symbolize? They're interconnected. It doesn't matter how separate you think you are, it's connected. Masculine, femininity, how much you think is different, they're both interconnected. So what is your shadow? Your shadow is all the parts of yourself that you don't like or repressed or suppressed. The parts of yourself or the thoughts you've had or whatever it is that you don't like or you never acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's what your shadow is. Those dark triad traits, whether it could be Machiavellianism, narcissism, those are parts of yourself that needs to be worked on. Now, how do you start off with shadow work? Acknowledgement. Well, no, actually, I'm bugging. Awareness. Become aware of your shadow traits. Now, that doesn't mean because you have certain thoughts, you act on it. I don't want nobody to see this video and, okay, the Ascent says shadow work, and no, don't act on, no, I'm not saying act on these traits, but awareness. Become aware of the parts of yourself that you don't like, or the parts of yourself where you realize, okay, all right, I could see how I could be arrogant sometimes or egotistical, or you can see how maybe you're a person where you repressed, like, who you are or a certain side of you, whether it could be, like sexual or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? You need to understand and be aware of these traits of yourself. Secondly, acknowledgement. Acknowledge that these are a part of you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, in TV shows, movies, you see it all the time. Light kills the darkness. Can't kill darkness. Everything comes from darkness. When you're in the womb as a baby, you're in darkness. Darkness is the process of transformation. Light is what you ascend to. You know what I'm saying? You ascend to the light. Feel me? But the darkness is what gives you there. So, if you notice, it's the rain that makes the flowers grow. Because without good and bad, you wouldn't understand that's how life is. It's not going to be sunshines and flowers all the time. There's going to be bad times. It's going to be chaos. It's just the balance of things. It's, you know what I'm saying? Don't be mad at me. It's just how things are set in this universe, right? So with your shadow work, awareness, become aware of it. Acknowledgement, acknowledge it and then accept it. You need to accept these parts of you, because if you don't, you're just going to constantly be in a battle or in limbo state of trying to do this. There's nothing wrong with accepting how you feel or how your thoughts are. Don't act on it. That doesn't mean act on it. No, but you accept that. Accept that, okay, these are the thoughts that pass through my mind, and this is how I feel, or this is something that I've repressed about myself, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to accept it. And then now, you got to learn how to integrate your shadow. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like in this world we live in, or in this realm, this dimension we live in, you feel me? You could be loving light all you want to, but don't get it twisted. Not everybody has hit that vibration yet. So some people will still try and disrespect you. Now, I'm not saying go out here just knocking people out and swinging on people. That's not what I'm saying. But you got to know when to use that shadow to stand up for yourself. And somebody talking reckless, you got to know how to check that person. It is what it is. Now, however it leads down, leads down. But you feel me? Don't you got to know it. Now, there's a difference between ignoring your shadow and then using it badly, or being aware, acknowledging your shadow and accepting it and using it in a proper way. Because once you integrate it, you then realize that, oh, this is something that's a part of me. It's not a bad part. It's just something that I labeled bad because of what society deemed as taboo, whatever it is. But this is something that's a part of me. But it's okay. I don't need to run from it no more. I don't need to hide from this no more. I don't need to run away from me. Because every time you run from your shadow, you're running away from you, a part of you. And that part of you gets stuffed down, and it gets, and everything starts to add up, and you explode, or you go, or you know what I'm saying, you lose your mind because of what you're suppressing. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically how society, you know, we're taught to always keep it moving, you know, which in one instance is understandable because life goes on. But at the same time, we're not taught how to properly sit down and take time to deal with our emotions and how we feel. You know, shadow work, it's just allowing yourself to feel that. Like, whatever traumas you've been through in life, look, healing is not no walk in the park, okay? When you see people, namaste and love and light and peace and joy, bruh, you don't know what type of roller coaster ride they went through. Because when you're doing shadow work or you're healing yourself, you're going to have so much suppressed memories come up to the point where you got to, like, really know how to stay grounded. Because if not, you could lose your mind. Literally, you can lose your mind if you don't properly, you know, have the right tools or the right, you know, qualities to handle this situation. So with your shadow work, you gotta, like, you feel me? How, whatever you feeling, you gotta let it out. Like, if you gotta cry it out, you're just gonna have to cry it out, dog. Whatever traumas and things you've been through, if it's coming up, if you got time alone to cry it out, just cry it all out. If you're not a crier, maybe you feel like, okay, I can put this into writing or some type of thing, but you gotta have some type of healthy outlet. Don't take it out on people, but you gotta either cry it out or write it out or draw or dance or do something. Dancing is a great way to help release, like, negative energy build up too. You feel me? So, but you gotta have to, like, work on that shadow, bro, because if not, trust me, a lot of these love and light people who walk around and don't address this, they have a lot of repressed baggage in them. So, you know, and they can't fully ascend because they're not acknowledging that part of them. And that's why I say, like, this is a toxic trait of constantly projecting positivity all the time, because that's not life. That's not how life is. Like, I don't care how much you practice law of attraction, this, that, and the third, you're going to still have some days. You're going to have days where you're not feeling it. You're going to have days where you wake up and, I ain't feeling it, bro. I'm not feeling it today, bro. You feel me? So you can't, oh, this and that. Nah. You know, and it's okay. Like, if you wake up and you feel like, damn, bro, like, I'm good. Like, I'm grateful. I'm thankful to God I'm alive today. But, you know, you kind of just having that day where, you know what, I'm going to take it easy. Take it easy on yourself. Like, that don't mean, you know, bring your bad attitude to anybody else. But, you know, be easy on yourself that day. Don't force yourself to be in a high vibration and positive if you're not feeling it. Like, if you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. You know, still give people respect, still say hi, you know, all that stuff. But if you're not feeling like you want to be all that uppity today, it's okay. Sit down and you know, let those emotions pass through. But that's basically all shadow work is, man. Like I said, you got to do your own research. But like I said, become aware of it. Like, become aware of what parts of yourself you repressed. And then acknowledge it. Acknowledge that, you know what, this is a part of me. And accept it. Once you accept that this is a part of me, I'm no longer going to run from me, you can start the actual healing process. Because now you don't even have that lingering darkness or lingering that low vibrational energy or that wound that was, you know, penetrating your soul and eating you up no more. Because you're running away from you. Every time you run away from your shadow, you're running away from you. That is you. That is you. And if you talk to somebody and they ain't never heard of shadow work or nothing like that, they clearly ain't that level up there like that. Because anybody that's really, 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 really deep, and I'm not saying because they don't know shadow work, they're not really spiritual, but they clearly have some more work themselves they need to do. Because anybody that really understands spirituality or whatever practice you follow, you understand you need to face your demons, like, for real. Now, that doesn't mean take it out on people or nothing like that. But you need to understand, be aware, acknowledge it, and accept it. Because if not, what happens? It projects out into the world. You end up being like this to other people. Some people are terrible people because they have a shadow part of them. You know, like, you might have people who in a position of power and authority, and then it gets to their head, and then they start belittling people. You know what I'm saying? Part of their shadow, this, that, and the third. You got some people in relationships or family, friends, who, you know, They could be narcissistic. They could be manipulative. They gaslight you. Because remember, trauma bonds is a real thing. So you need to be very mindful, understand your shadow. And understanding your shadow will help you learn how to deal with the shadows of others. Because some people right now are in trauma bonding or toxic relationships because of another person's shadow they're projecting onto that person, and they're accepting and not realizing, damn, it's not me, it's them. They're projecting a lot of, everybody plays their part, but they're projecting a lot of things on me that's harming me. So do your shadow work, you feel me? Like I said, become aware of it. Become aware. It's like meditation. You become aware of your thoughts. You acknowledge it, like, all right, this thought is in my head. You let it pass through, and then just accept it. Like, it's a part.